Hey, what's up guys? I want to do a review on this shotgun. It is my favorite shotgun in the world. Not like I had a bunch of them, but I love it. I absolutely loved it, and I've just did minor changes to make it exactly how I want it. And I think, first of all, it's just a really cool looking gun, but it's extremely functional, and this is my home defense gun. Okay, besides my pistol, this is my ideal weapon to get to. Now, I had thought that I made this video before, and someone asked recently if I could do a video review on my Mossberg shotgun, and I was like, oh, I'll just reference you the old video, I'll send you a link, and I went to look for it and I couldn't find it. And I thought, oh, what happened to it? Maybe I deleted it because of music. And then I really thought about it, I'm like, oh crap, I don't think I just ever did a video on it. So that's what it's going to be. This is going to be a video review on this Mossberg Model 500 Tactical Cruiser. A lot to talk about. First off, I do want to show you that it is unloaded. Alright, so there's nothing in the magazine. This tube on the bottom underneath the barrel is the tube magazine. Now if you listen carefully, that noise is me pushing the follower with the spring up into the tube there. So it is empty. There's no shells. Now I can feel it, but I can also see it. Now, I can also see there's nothing in the chamber. You probably can't see this, but you can see that my finger's going somewhere. Okay, so obviously it's in the chamber. So the gun is completely safe. I will also let you know, not that it's important, but that way is just woods. So I'm not pointing this at anyone or anything that I don't intend to destroy. One of the basic rules of handling firearms. But when I do pull the trigger, which I will in this video, I will point it to the ground anyway, just to be safe. But yes, so anyone who is concerned, you are now safe. You always were safe. You're just watching a video. But anyway, let's move on. Stop talking about the safety stuff, because although I do feel safety is important, there is a line. So this is a Mossberg Model 500 Tactical Cruiser. What makes this the Tactical Cruiser model is the pistol grip and the breacher muzzle brake. Okay. Now this is not the original pistol grip. Okay. In fact, when this gun was purchased, the store that bought the gun changed out the stock pistol grips and added AR style adjustable shoulder stocks on it. So this never had an original Mossberg pistol grip on it. When I had received the gun, which was a Christmas present a couple years ago, the first thing I wanted to do was take off that stock. It's not that it wasn't functional or wasn't quality or anything like that. It worked fine, you know, but I didn't want a stock. I already had a shotgun. I had my Mossberg 500 Persuader, which is a longer, more standard looking shotgun. That has a 7+1 capacity. I already had a big 12 gauge. Now I wanted a compact 12 gauge. So the first thing I did was I went to, I believe, the Sportsman's Guide, 20 bucks, and I got a Tac Star or N-Star, something like that, some off-name, you know, cheapo pistol grip for 20 bucks. And what two functions on this pistol grip? First of all, is a pistol grip, which is what I wanted. The price was right for $20, but I like the rounded style on this. I'll give you a closer shot, as well as the integrated sling mount. On the top of this grip, the plastic, it's all one piece, and it has a swing, I keep wanting to say a swivel swing, I don't know why. It has a sling mount, okay, and I did in fact use a setup for a while just for range shooting and for fun, where I had a single point sling on the shotgun. That's when I had the micro rig, the 12 gauge chest rig. Very cool setup. So that gave me the ability to use the single point sling on this, okay. I will eventually get a stock Mossberg pistol grip just to see the difference, because I would prefer it. And when I got that Ridgeback racks done, I had the original one put on, or the style of that, so that originally I would put the other grip on. But this one works fine. It does fit my hand very nicely, and it does the job. It's not going to break or anything. This is a 12 gauge shotgun. It's a pump action shotgun. If you don't know anything about it, how pump action shotguns work is you're manually pushing this or pumping it, pulling the forearm back. Now the first motion, when you pull it back, what you're doing is you're opening the action here, okay, and you're stripping a round out of the tube magazine, because this is where our ammo is held, in this tube underneath the barrel. You're taking one round out, dropping it in the receiver, and when you push forward, you're pulling it in to the top tube, okay, which is our barrel. Now it's sitting in the chamber ready to be fired. So this whole thing of, you know, that's basically out of this tube into that tube. Okay, so if you're not into guns at all, that's a very basic explanation as to what's happening here. Okay, that's what this is. Out from the bottom into the top. Now this particular gun has a capacity of 5+1, so this tube will hold 5 rounds, and +1 meaning you can have one loaded into the chamber if you choose to do so. Now this is chambered for 3-inch shells, meaning that there's a variety of shotgun shells out there, but common sizes are going to be your 3.5-inch shell, which is like the biggest shell, I believe. Then you have 3-inch, then you have a very common 12-gauge size, which is 2 3/4 inches. That's what most people are going to use, 2 3/4-inch buckshot to be exact. That's what the average household that has a shotgun for self-defense is loaded with. So it's nice to know you can load this up with a 3-inch shells. Like 3-inch magnums pack a massive, massive punch. So if you choose to do that, it will accept those ammunitions. So, but 2 3/4 shells are about the average. There are a lot of novelty rounds on the market. In fact, gun websites did a video months ago, maybe even last year, on 1-inch, I believe it was 1 or 1.5-inch shotgun shells, which I still really want because you can really load up on capacity. They seem very cool. But anyway, what else can I say about this gun? The breacher tip, let's talk about that for a minute. All right, this has a breacher style muzzle brake. Now you'll see all these serrations on the tip. These are very sharp, okay? In fact, if I just smack it like that, that hurts. It hurts my hand, it irritates it. And you can probably see, if I push in, you can see the marks on my hand. But it's not, its main purpose is to keep stability when you jam it into a wood door, and the purpose being to blow off locks on doors for breaching. All right, so if you're a SWAT team or some kind of a tactical person and you need to enter someone's house and the doors are all locked up or barricaded, jam this into the door right where the lock is, or the deadbolt, whatever. Pull the trigger. You got ammo loaded specifically for this purpose, and you're just going to basically blow that out of the door, and that will allow you to kick the door in and enter the house or building or whatever. That's its main purpose. However, it is sharp. So if you're in a situation where either you run out of ammo or you're rounding a corner somewhere and someone is just like right there in your face, you're like, you're just surprised. If you were to give this a very good jam into someone's eyeball or their forehead or their jaw, there would be an extreme amount of pain. It is very, very effective at being a self-defense weapon within itself. That will buy you just that couple, split seconds to pull back, assess the situation. If you need to, pull the trigger for more lethal force. But let's say you don't want to use lethal force. Maybe someone broke in your home and they have a knife, and maybe they're really stupid. First of all, they're stupid for breaking into your house, but maybe they're a little extra stupid and they go, come on, man. And they see you have a shotgun here. Most people would just shoot them, but maybe you don't want to shoot them. Maybe morally you don't want to kill someone, whatever the reason. You can definitely use a shotgun in a very non-lethal manner by just stabbing him and hitting him. Of course, you can use any gun and just like a baseball bat, It is a heavy piece of metal. It will be very effective at that. But it's just a cool option, and if nothing else at all, it looks awesome. Absolutely awesome. Very cool. Between this tip and the pistol grip, this is just a sexy looking gun. It really is. I fell in love with this whole thing. Once I put the pistol grip on here, I'm like, that is it. That's my perfect shotgun. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very, very reliable. The Mossberg 500 models, and there's lots of them out there. P.S. This specific model is no longer on Mossberg's website. They've replaced it with like a camo pattern. It's called like a turkey something or other. But you can find these plenty of places that still have them in stock. It's basically new old stock. It's an older model, but a lot of places will still carry it. And you're looking at about $300 to $400 for these brand new. More on the low 300 side, like 320, 330. That's going to be an average price for this. But I was saying before, it's very reliable, extremely popular. I've never had a problem. In fact, a lot of police forces do have purchased, these Mossberg 500 models, specifically like the 590s too, as well as the 500s. But it just works. I have over 500 rounds to this gun. I'm pushing like 700 rounds, but most of those, at least 500 that I know of, are all number 7 birdshot from Walmart. When I first got this gun, it was just the cheapest, most affordable option to shoot. It was also much less kick having that number 7, but I have shot a couple boxes of 3-inch Magnum slugs out of this, and it does pack a punch. I want to talk about specifically pistol grip shotguns in general. A lot of people don't like them because they don't have the maneuverability. They happen to think that if you have a pistol grip shotgun that you're stuck shooting like this, that you can no longer aim. Okay, it's the spray and pray kind of a deal where basically you're hip shooting and you have to hope that you're kind of aiming in the right direction. It's not necessarily the case. In fact, I have videos of me shooting this and actually aiming. Now, when you aim this gun, you don't do this, obviously. Okay, it is harder. It's not easy by any means to support the gun out, and you have to keep it away from yourself. So when you do shoot, it will jolt. You don't want to break your teeth. You don't want to break your nose. Okay, it will give you a good jolt, and it's not as comfortable. But you can certainly point this down range and aim. Okay, it's just not ideal. If I was in my home using this as its intended purpose for self-defense, most likely I would be about mid-chest level. Okay. And I know you really can't see that, but I would hold it, basically lock get my little broken chicken wing going on, and lock it like this, and then shoot it like this, okay? It wouldn't be hip shooting, it wouldn't be aiming, it would be mid-chest area. This gives me a very good idea as to where I'm pointing this, and it's basically point and shoot. I'm not using the sight. Now, speaking of the sight, this gun came with this white dot sight. It's not a night sight or anything. Now, you can see that it swivels. Okay, I have never done anything with this sight since I got the gun new. It's always been loose like that. Okay, so that's not a good thing. I think that's just quality control. Mossberg must have forgot to Loctite or something. Not a big deal. In fact, I'll throw a little Loctite on this when I'm done with the video. But it's a no-frills sight. You can change this out with something else if you want, like a brass bead or something completely different. You can certainly do so, which is pretty cool. All these Mossberg 500 models, they are tapped for a rail. If you want to throw a rail on there and put some kind of an optic, perhaps a red dot sight would be pretty ideal. You're certainly not going to be putting a scope on this gun. It's not meant for it. Lots of shotguns out there. This is not a hunting gun, not in my opinion anyway. And let's talk more about that. This does have a smooth bore barrel, okay? Meaning there's no rifling in this barrel. Now I think rifled barrels on shotguns are more dedicated towards hunting shotguns. A smooth bore barrel is definitely more versatile. Therefore, again, we're going on the same theme of defense. I can shoot pretty much whatever I want in this. Okay, any kind of 12 gauge load minus a 3.5 inch shell, because that will not chamber properly, or if at all. So the gun is it's an awesome gun. It's quality, it's affordable. I can't believe that this is only like a $330 gun, brand new. What's not to love about this? It looks cool, it's functional. For my purposes as a home defense gun, I can get in tight places with this. I don't have to worry about smacking doorways, you know, or someone reaching out and grabbing it. It's in close, you know. I feel very, very secure with this gun as a home defense gun. Now I happen to load this with these. This is my choice of home defense round, and a lot of people are going to give me crap for this, and I'm going to make a separate video talking about home defense ammo for shotguns. The most common defense ammo is going to be 2 3/4 inch buckshot, double-aught buck. That's it. That's what most people are going to have. I choose this specific ammo, which is a Winchester dual bonded 2 3/4 inch slug. Get a close shot of that. All right, that's what I choose. Now, a lot of people are going to go, ooh, Jeff, shame on you. Slugs? Nope. Too much power. It's going to go right through your wall, through your neighbor's wall, right into your neighbor. That's not very responsible of you, Jeff. You should not be using slugs. Well, I'm in a very specific situation here, and again, this is all for a separate video, but I can tell you that I feel very confident in using slugs in my home and not endangering the people around me. And I will go in depth on that in a separate video. But that's what I load this up with. Now, how I load this gun and keep it stored is 5 rounds, full magazine capacity. I do not put one in the chamber. That's just my personal choice. I keep the safety off, and I'm going to talk about the safety in a second here on this gun too, because it's also a subject matter a lot of people talk about with the 500s. But I keep the safety off, okay, and the gun loaded in condition 3. So if I need to use the gun for defense, I pick it up out of its resting spot. I rack the slide, or not racking the slide, but I rack the forearm, point, and pull the trigger. That's all I need to do. I like the fact that this gives a very vocal warning okay? I don't have to yell out, get out of my house. I don't have to yell out, who's that? That's all I need, okay? That's my excuse for, well, he heard it and he stuck around. That's why he's dead on my living room floor. All right, so I like that. Some people don't want to do that. Some people choose to keep their guns ready to go. They don't want to give anyone a warning because maybe this gives the person time to get their own gun ready or something. I don't care what their situation is. I want them to hear. I want to give them one shot to get the hell out of my house before I kill them. And if they hear that and they decide to stick around long enough for me to see them, well, I'll have to take their chances. So let's talk about that safety for a second. Yes, the safety is located on top of the receiver. Strange. Most guns, specifically shotguns, well, actually most guns in general, but a lot of shotguns have their safety either in front or behind the trigger guard, okay? Now, what's good about that is that you're in your shooting position here and you could still manipulate your safety. What some people do not like about this gun is the fact that they cannot manipulate their safety from their shooting grip. They can't. There's no way to do it. Okay, you have to remove your shooting grip to manipulate that safety. And there's the safety on top. You see the red dot means it's not on. Okay, red means danger and it's ready to go. Flick that over. It's a very secure lockup. There's serrations on there. Okay, so there's no way to slip off. It's very aggressive jimping, if you will. And it works really good. But this is a non-issue for me. Okay. Again, because of my use of the gun. I don't use the safety outside of my house. Now, if I go to a range or something, in transport, I always leave the safety on, the gun's unloaded. That's different. Range time is completely different. But at home, I don't need to manipulate my safety. So it's a non-issue for me. It may be an issue for you. A lot of people don't like that fact. But anyway, another thing I want to mention is that this gun, it is a metal gun, but the trigger assembly, not the trigger is metal, but the trigger guard and the whole assembly is like an ABS plastic, okay? So besides the furniture, the foregrip and the actual pistol grip here are plastic as well, which is expected. Most guns have some kind of wood or plastic material for the grips and guards. But a lot of people don't like the fact that that trigger guard's plastic, okay? I speak to the, in the Ridgeback Racks video on that where, you know, in some kind of a locked up position, in that specific case, you can break that off. It'd be very difficult to, but some people just don't like plastic on their guns. That's understandable. Safety on here is metal, everything else is metal. It's just that trigger guard is plastic. I'm not sure, but I believe that the 590s have a metal guard, and I'm fairly certain you can buy a metal one from other models if that's something that really bothers you. But I did want to mention it. Just something to think about. Changing the barrels on these shotguns is very, very simple. All you have to do, I'm just going to show you this real quick. In fact, I just saw a SHOT Show video where Mossberg has some new kind of like fast, you know, interchangeable system where you can turn like a tactical gun into a sporting gun. That's cool. I love the idea behind it. Actually, it was Weapons Education posted the video. It was a SHOT Show booth review, kind of, well, it was just an interview, a quick interview with Mossberg, and they were showing off that, oh, they can change, you know, make this look like a hunting gun to a, like, you know, this tactical cruiser kind of thing. And I thought that's a really awesome idea, but when are you going to practically use that? Like, is that for like after you murder someone with this and you're a criminal and the cops are coming up and you quickly turn it into a hunting gun? I suppose it's cool if you're a hunter and you have your hunting shotgun, like your deer gun, and then you still want to make that your home defense gun, so when you get home you make it a shorter kind of setup. That's a good reason to have that kind of thing. But even the old-fashioned ones like I'm showing you here, the only reason I mention it is because this is still pretty easy to change barrels out. All you do is you put your foregrip into about the halfway position here, not all the way down, not all the way up, somewhere in the middle. Just loosen this lug nut here. Take that off, and your whole barrel will come right off the gun. It's really simple. So if you want to change this out to, say, a longer barrel, that'd be fine. Something to consider here is that you have this ring on the barrel itself, okay, which secures it to the magazine tube. Okay, so if you were to go with a longer barrel, make sure that that ring is still at the right distance, okay, the same magazine capacity, so it'll work properly, as opposed to, like, I have my Mossberg 500 Persuader. but this ring is way up, you know, so if I put that barrel on here, it wouldn't work on this specific gun because the ring wouldn't match up with the magazine tube. But very simple to swap out barrels. If, let's say, you want to get a smoothbore barrel like this, but perhaps buy a shoulder stock and a separate barrel that's rifled for specific hunting purposes, that'd be totally fine. It's very easy to get these on and off. So it's a cool option. Overall, this is a fantastic gun. All the Mossberg guns I think are great. I don't hear any complaints about them from anyone, but I highly recommend them. One more thing to show you is the release here. Okay, once you cock your gun, that forearm is now locked in place until you pull the trigger. But if you don't want to pull the trigger and you just want to release, it's right here. Let me give you a close-up shot of that. The release is right there, so you depress that or push that into the frame, and then you can freely move the forearm back and forth. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't like that either because it's usually on the other side. What I do to release this, let me give you this kind of view here, is here's my shooting grip, my natural shooting grip. I use my middle finger and just cant my hand up a little bit. That gives me access to that. That's how it's most comfortable for me to just naturally, like, all right, I'm locked in, but I don't want to pull the trigger. Maybe I have a round in the chamber, but I don't want to shoot it. I want to get it out, so I have to hit that release. Okay, so here's my shooting grip. I would just reach around, hit the release, eject my round, do whatever I have to do. So that's how I get to it. It's very simple though. That's pretty much it. Mossberg 500, tactical cruiser specifically, but I think they're all on the same level of reliability and affordability. So A+ Mossberg, awesome company. I own two of them, two Model 500s, and I couldn't be happier with either one of them. I think it's a fantastic gun. It's definitely worth it. So if you guys are interested in a shotgun, you want a home defense option, you don't have a lot of money, buy a used one. You know, as long as the thing's not broken, you can have used firearms. Some people have like a weird thing about that. They don't want to buy used guns. That's okay. You know, we're all entitled to our own opinions and stuff, but I have no problem buying a used gun. If I can get it for half the price because it's used, as long as it's not abused, there is a difference. That's totally fine. Just make sure the thing works right. But that is an awesome sound, and that is an awesome, intimidating looking gun, and very effective for my purposes anyway. But it's held up, it runs great. I barely oil the thing, you know, I don't like to over oil my guns or make them too wet. It's been fine. I did have a little bit of surface rust issues with this gun. That's only because of my own storing. I did not oil it before storing the gun, and then after taking it out of storage, a little bit of surface rust, but I have to say this matte black finish on this cleaned off beautifully. I didn't even use anything to scrub it, just basically wet paper towels. Got all the surface rust off, and then, you know, put a dry rag to it, and it was fine. So I really like it. I like the subdued Parkerized black. It's just, I really like that. I don't like glossy guns. I don't like shiny guns, black shiny guns. I happen to like silver shiny guns. If you're nickel plated guns, that's very cool. Polished stainless is cool, even brushed stainless. But if it's black, I want it, I don't want glare on it. Like, I'm not really into blue guns. Now, some guns have just beautiful bluing on it. An old, you know, single action revolver blued is just, that's natural. That's very cool. But generally speaking, if the gun's black, I don't like bluing. I like just an actual flat black. So there's just nothing that would make this gun better except a bunch of free ammunition going through it. It's fantastic. It's highly recommended. It's reliable and it's affordable. So that's the Mossberg 500 Tactical Cruiser. I thank you guys very much for watching. Stay tuned because I will do another video on why I choose slugs for home defense as a home defense option. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.